I've been generating leads and also inquiries. That's the best thing about LinkedIn because it's actually like a serial videos that I can put. Then they can follow the story, and it saves a lot of time for education awareness.
What are you guys normally doing on LinkedIn? Maybe a bit of background about what you do specifically and how you've been leveraging on LinkedIn.
Hi guys, I'm at Educator International University, and previously what I've been doing on LinkedIn is actually getting my students to kind of boost their profiles and start building on their own professional development. And a lot of people assume that young adults in university is not the right time for them to be on LinkedIn yet. So before the MCO, I run this professional development class at INTI International University. And what I do is actually encourage my students to actually get onto LinkedIn and post and start building their own brands and giving themselves visibility. So that's what I started doing on LinkedIn, as well as providing any help that I can to the LinkedIn community from the area of professional development and personal development, which is my core.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. Thanks for having me on board. So the way that I run my business is when I first started, I use heavily on LinkedIn to get leads and businesses, because that's the place, that's the platform where it's very focused, where people spend their time in terms of trying to get business opportunities, career opportunities and things like that. So the content that I post, the value I provide would be very matching to the nativity of that platform. So I use that as a way to generate leads and to get connections, to get to people, to get to decision makers, to be able for me to sell my services to their companies. So that's a little bit of background of what I do in terms of using LinkedIn in the past.
Okay, so basically you're hustling on LinkedIn, right?
Correct.
Okay, now Shahiwan, you're a LinkedIn influencer with 13,000 followers, and you're a social entrepreneur. What have you been doing on LinkedIn before this?
Right, Assalamualaikum and very good morning. I started using LinkedIn back in 2010, 2010, when I graduated from university. First thing first, LinkedIn, when you want to find a job, LinkedIn is where you go, right? So for first few years, that was my objective, but then I realized it's actually a good professional platform. So in my line of industry, solar energy is relatively new. So we spend a lot of in education and awareness. So LinkedIn is the best platform for me to show what solar energy can do. So until now, I've been using LinkedIn to show that the solar energy prospect, and including applications like which industry can use solar energy, and whether it makes sense or not, whether it can achieve economy of scale or not. So that will be my priority on LinkedIn then.
Okay, so how do you find LinkedIn as a platform compared to other social media out there, and how has it helped you even before COVID-19?
I've been generating leads and also inquiries. That's the best thing about LinkedIn because it's actually like a serial videos that I can put. And surprisingly, I don't have to repeat from, like when you are teaching somebody, you got syllabus, right? Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. So I don't have to repeat from Chapter 1 again. So I just continue whatever chapter that I left them, and then they can follow the story. And it saves a lot of time for education awareness. I can tell you very easily, when I firstly engage with people to talk about solar, I can easily spend like 1 hour to 2 hours to talk what is solar energy. So nowadays I can save a lot of time, then I can start to channel the inquiries towards the specific application.
I think for me, I use LinkedIn very actively now. It's like the only thing that I'm looking at currently. I do go on Facebook, but not as often anymore. And why I use LinkedIn is because I think it's one of the most amazing platforms ever. And one thing I love about LinkedIn is the support. As a lecturer, I mean, if you think about using LinkedIn, you're like, why should I be on LinkedIn? I'm not a business owner. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not selling anything, right? But when I started getting on LinkedIn and I was encouraged by Joy Abdullah, and I actually went and saw Shahiwan for the first time at Istana Budaya, and I was very inspired by what Shahiwan said, GD Naidu said, Honey, that's where I met all of them for the first time, and they were so hardcore, LinkedIn. They were like, you should go on LinkedIn, and I'm like, who am I to go on LinkedIn? What would I know about LinkedIn? So I did go on LinkedIn, and I realized it's an amazing place to not just build your brand and who you are, but also help other people and to share and learn from them. And I think my perspective on what jobs are, perspective of what LinkedIn can offer has drastically changed because of that. And I'm very grateful to LinkedIn. If not, I would not have met even Nina, right? So I'm very excited to use the LinkedIn platform, and I think it's one of the most comfortable platforms to be on because people are supportive. They are very, they are haters, but very, very little. People are very supportive when you're starting off. So compared to other platforms, you can fail and people can still support you and say, don't worry, Cheryl, you'll do fine, you'll be fine. So I think support is one word I would say when you talk about LinkedIn. Amazing support.
I would summarize that as the community on LinkedIn is like a complete opposite of Facebook in the sense that if you're on Facebook, the kind of content is, angry, FU, kind of drama content does well. I think Shahi once said that, right? If you want to membawang, you go on Facebook, right?
Facebook. Yep.
Yeah, but if you need support, especially from a professional business angle, kind of thing, then LinkedIn is the one for you, right?
Correct.
That sort of thing.
Correct.
What about you, Nabil? What have you been using it?
So I like to echo what Shahiwan just mentioned that LinkedIn is a very powerful platform where if I want to educate my clients or prospects or even the audience, it's like a very linear progression of learning. You don't have to start from zero again. You can talk in terms of bite-sized pieces. Like today, I'm going to post a bit of this, tomorrow like that, and you can have a progression of a weekly or a monthly planning in terms of what kind of content you want to educate people. Because on LinkedIn itself, people are hungry to know more about things in other industries and not just for networking, right? So I find it quite powerful that way because in some of those contents that I posted, usually it would direct to more connections and direct messages from people. That's when I started talking in terms of like, oh, this is what do you do? How can we help each other? And along the way, we figure out a way on how to get businesses done with each other. It's not always the case, but usually that's the best way I found to be able to be helpful in terms of my business. So yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like, especially for you two business owners, it's about educating your audience, educating your clients as well, yeah? And tak kenal maka tak cinta, right? So through
Yeah.
educating them, they get to know you and, create trust and buy from you. That's the most important thing, right?
Correct. Because I just like to add, like each and every one of us is very unique, right? Each one of us have a specific voice in the marketplace. So you have to speak the way that you speak, and you'll definitely resonate with the right kind of audience that you reach out to.